forgotten where she came from. She has never forgotten her husband.
Oh no, she's never forgotten. Even though she's not as close to the girl family as she once was. But whatever, it happens. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, stuff like that happens.
And she's also a WWE person now, and most of them aren't. So
exactly.
It happens. Things happen. And she's still got the daughters. She's still taking care of her daughters.
Exactly.
If I remember that right, she is.
So it just for the GM, for the manager, even for the wrestler, because like I said, she was not a wrestler. She never claimed to be a wrestler. She never trained to be a wrestler. She was thrown into it. WWE, in a way, I do think that they took advantage of the situation because they knew that she had to provide for her family. They knew that, wrestlers don't have insurance. They don't have...
not much of anything, really. They're independent contractors. That's said a lot.
Exactly. And she had to take care of her family. And I think just... they did take some advantage of her. Obviously you have the hog pen match and
versus Santina.
Exactly. and you have that kind of stuff. But
since then,
exactly.
And she might be one of the only people in this current roster that could get a crowd riled up by saying one sentence.
I agree.
All you have to do is say, "Excuse me," and everybody is booing. I've heard crowds still to this day are booing so loud they can't even hear her on the loudspeaker.
Exactly.
Talk about what she's talking about. So there you go. They still do that to this day. All right. Well, I'm going to jump to my number 3. Or number 3,
right? Yes.
And I'm going to go with the person that led the show off in Mickie James.
Okay.
And she's been a great wrestler. I think since the day she debuted, she put on one of my favorite Diva WrestleMania matches ever with her and Trish. And Trish's final WrestleMania match of her career.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved her for her first gimmick. The stalker, psycho Mickie James was great. When she turned face, she turned into the lovable diva that everyone seemed to love. I loved Mickie when she turned face because she ended up being a great wrestler and a great diva and a great representation of the division. As much as you love that kind of stuff, So I to this day, and we still have her poster up in here somewhere next to your Shawn Michaels poster.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she's now back in TNA, doing her thing, and I still think she's made. And she was also one of the people. She wasn't skinny, she wasn't tiny, and I think that's what made the late cool Mickie James rivalry so well done at the time.
Well, I will put it here that Mickie is my number 2.
Okay, great. Well, we're number 2 anyway. Go.
She is one of the few people loved her as a heel, loved her as a face. She never apologized for who she was.
Mm-hmm.
She was country in a Hollywood world.
Still is.
She always had some meat on her bones.
Even when she lost a little bit of weight, she still got the hips, and she's still proud of them. She's still very proud of her hips.
So, I think that if you saw where she started from and where she's ended up, I think that she's grown quite a bit. I have a soft spot in my heart for her because she was unconventional in so many different ways.
Her rivalry with Trish was freaking amazing.
And I have to say that there would be no crazy AJ
without crazy Mickie. I agree. I totally agree. Have you actually seen my tweet about my opinion with Caitlyn and AJ?
Yeah.
Caitlyn's you'd be crazy AJ a la Mickie James. I totally agree with that statement.
I think that AJ...
That's so true.
I think she studied up on what Mickie did.
And just turned it up to her style.
Exactly.
Because she's so tiny and everything. But all right. My number 2 is the recently inducted Hall of Famer, Trish Stratus. One of a kind. Always will be one of a kind. Never anyone like her. She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. First diva out of the era, after the Attitude Era, to get in there. Because she became the Diva champion right after the Attitude Era ended, really.
Okay, I will say that Trish is my number 1.
She's amazing. She's one of the best.
Probably
the best. I think the best WWE Women's Champion ever. 7-time women's champion, by the way.
In a world with your Stacys and your Torys and your Sables and puppies and gimmick matches.
And Trish did do a bunch of those.
Yes, don't get me wrong. What I'm going to say is Trish was able to rise above all of that.
She went from being a manager from Test and Albert as a model. She should be the model that all the Diva Search contestants went after, because she went from that to becoming what she was.
Exactly. I mean, she has done it all. She has done the manager thing. She has done the gimmick. She really was the first person to, I really think, revolutionize Divas wrestling. Being able to move in the ring like she does with the Stratisfaction, with the chick kick,
and then her Matrix move she brought out of nowhere.
The Matrix move. She was able to bring the best out in anyone she ever wrestled. Her matches with Lita, with Victoria, with Jazz, Molly. They're some of the best.
I got to see a Molly Trish match in person one time, by the way.
I think that any diva or any woman who wants to be a diva needs to look at what Trish has done, because she's done it all. She's done it all with class.
And she's now selling yoga DVDs.
She was able to stay away from drama. She was able to stay away from all of the negativity, and she's such a class act.
She has to be one of the most respected WWE superstars divas in a long time.
Yes.
Really. See, my number one...
It's very hard to say anything negative about Trish.
It really is hard, because there's nothing really... She made a rivalry with Jericho and Christian. She turned heel on Jericho with Christian and made Christian's career. So she did make that career. For me, my number one is Amy Dumas Lita. It will always... I loved her from the minute I started watching wrestling. I miss her. I really do miss Lita. I met her, and she's a great person, actually, in person. I know you're not a fan because of the whole Edge, Matt Hardy situation that happened. Everybody told me that. When that all went down.
I did love Lita, and the reason...
The
reason why she made it as an honorable mention, but not in my top 5, is...
Good.
I understand that wrestling is fake, but I do have a hard time separating a person from a wrestler.
Okay. Is that why you're not a huge fan of Edge?
Yes.
Okay. I'm asking a simple question, seriously.
I think that any celebrity needs to realize that if you're going to be a role model, you need to be a role model 24/7. It is a full-time job, and I understand that people make mistakes, but...
Oddly enough, her mistake turned out to be a massive career move. Oddly enough.
I understand it was a mistake. I was very disappointed in the WWE for capitalizing upon it the way they did. I think it was a situation that was blown way out of proportion.
Oddly enough, though, the whole Matt Hardy thing turned around Edge's career. Weirdly enough. It propelled Edge's heel character into the stratospheres.
And I don't necessarily agree on all three of them that they should have brought their personal life into their professional life. And that...
I blame Matt Hardy for starting it, and then they just went from it. You know what I mean?
But they didn't have to play along.
True. Very true. I can't argue that.
Her whole thing with Edge is really why she's not in my top 5.
Her last run as the rated RKO.
She always...
As RKO, as Edge's girl.
She always dressed provocatively, but with Edge, she just dressed like a slut. There was no way around it. She didn't wrestle like she used to.
She was a phenomenal wrestler as a Hardy. At Team Extreme. As herself, her matches with Trish are legendary.
I again go back to...
Her rivalry with Trish was legendary.
To being a role model. And she was a role model up until that happened. So...
Okay, it makes sense. That's why we have discussions like this, because we both have our opinions. And I'm a guy, and I've always loved Lita. So, just being honest,
and that's understandable. And part of this is on the WWE for capitalizing upon such a shitty situation.
True. Very, very true. All right. Oh, before we wrap up, I have a question for you. It should be interesting.
Okay.
current roster, past roster, what are some dream matches you would like to see? If you could see it, maybe WWE freaking 13 video game. What matches would you want to see?
I would love to see Mickey versus Caitlyn.
Okay. I would actually see Mickey versus AJ. Based on characters. I'd love to see that matchup. Psycho AJ versus Psycho Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
God, that would be crazy hell at once.
I would love to see Beth versus Chyna.
Ooh. See, I just wanted to see Beth versus Carmen. We never got to see that.
Yeah, I would love to have seen that.
That was supposed to be what we were supposed to see at WrestleMania last year. It never happened.
Back in the day, I would have loved to have seen Trish versus Alundra Blaze.
Oh my God, you went there.
I did go there.
Wow.
Did we ever see the Bellas versus the Divas of Doom?
I don't think we ever did. I don't think it ever happened.
Well,
I don't think we're on the same show. I think the Bellas were on Raw. I think that's what happened. Because remember, this is during the Raw guest host days, and the Bellas were always bringing out the Raw guest hosts. Mm-hmm. So they were never on the same show at the same time, if I remember right.
Okay.
So I'm trying to remember. I don't think they were on the same show.
And what I would love is for Beth and Natalia and Karma to go against those little bimbo brawn panty.
The ones we talked about before. Oh my God, Karma would kill him. He broke it in half.
You know, you got your Candice Michelle, your Tori.
There's someone we haven't brought up. Candice Michelle. There's a name we haven't brought up because she wasn't bad. She wasn't good. She was in the middle somewhere.
She was there, and she always looked like she was ready for bedtime. So,
even when she was improving in the ring, she just didn't work. You know?
She always looked like she was wearing some pajamas.
What point she was? That was called WrestleMania 22.
Yeah. You know, she always looked like she was ready for bedtime.
But I do admit to WrestleMania, it's 22 or 23. They did the Divas pillow match, and that's the only time I ever saw like a aqua wrestling moves in a pillow fight match.
You know, she always looked like she was ready for bed, and so was the audience. So I would love to see the Divas of Doom plus Karma give it to some of, the little eye candy with the puppies.
That's an interesting match. That'd be funny. Well, on that note, I don't think I can follow that. I really don't think I can follow that. We're going to go out with song A Forcible Entry, which a lot of people don't remember this CD. And it is Boy, It's Car. Love, Fury, Passion, Energy. Lita's old theme music before she turned 4. And hung out with Edge.
Most people turn face or turn heel. Lita turned 4.
Yes. But on this note, thank you all for tuning into the show. If you're on iTunes, please rate and review the show.
Not bad. We don't want any of that.
Yes. Please help us out. I'd like to see if we can get up on some of these charts. That would be fun. And hopefully we can get more of our shows on iTunes soon. Quick plug for B&B?
Yes. Puzzled and Polished. It's our labor of love. I hand make jewelry and other accessories out of nail polish. All proceeds go to Autism Speaks on behalf of the littlest love of our life, Christian, who is going to be 5.
Oh my God.
I agree. Check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. There are always contests, giveaways.
Especially right now. There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah, there's contests, giveaways, there's specials, and it's just our way of being able to give back. And please check us out. We're at over 1,000 likes.
Oh, it's hard to believe. That's really hard to believe.
And honestly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, even if all we manage to do is get the word out for autism awareness, that is more than I could ever say or do.
You can also follow that at Puzzled Polish on Twitter. That's where I try to keep things up to date. It's so hard to keep up with all the likes on Facebook, but I'm trying to keep up the best I can.
Definitely check us out on Facebook. I make sure that I keep that as updated as humanly possible.
The Facebook page is updated more than the Twitter page, I'll be honest with you.
I make custom orders. Like I said, I love doing it, so please check us out. Okay.
Otherwise, you can follow me. Okay, follow the show at eReport1 on Twitter. Follow me at Riley21106. Mandy.
Mama, MAMA_Mandabear.
And thank you for listening to another episode of Pucks and Polished. We'll be back actually next week as we will be previewing the C Country Music Television Video Awards. I believe this is right next week.
Yeah, the CMTs.
CMT Awards. I mean, next week.